So I don't even know I was gonna do this today. I had planned on doing it actually in the morning, but I didn't get up. And I'm doing it in my driveway, which is very, very strange. Um, and I was wondering like where I can, which poems I was gonna read today. So, let's see. I don't know. I have poems from 2023. Um, and there's nobody here, so it's great if I read these poems right now because they're a little vulnerable. I have poems from 2024, and let me look at these. These are not as bad. So, and I have poems from 2025. Like I said, they're all written on what's today's date, March 14th. So obviously I write a lot of poetry, and there's nobody here right now. So I think I'm going to read the most vulnerable ones. I even have poems in Spanish today. Apparently today is a day to write poetry for me. And it is a little hot, so I'm going to do this. All right, so these are very vulnerable poems, the ones that I'm reading. And 2023, I was still like battling my demons and not. I had been to therapy. So there are three poems here. And I guess maybe I'll yap after each poem or not. Maybe I'm just gonna leave it as is. I don't know. But since nobody's here, I will read this. Okay. Like I said, yeah. Last time. Last time I saw you, you were dropping me off at home. I think that's when you made up your mind to let our story of toxicity end. My reality of mom of three was too much for you, and you did what you always do. Blocked me out of your universe, and it unhinged me for a bit. But then, I felt relief as you left my body, and I knew it was best to let you go. Together, we'd only hold each other back from growing. Together, we never evolve. And too many times I've lived this story, so I respected the boundary you placed on me and never heard from you ever again. I think this is, I knew who it's about, and fast forward 3 years later, and the person I thought was, oh God, it's a very complicated story, but and not exactly a plot twist, but I'm in contact with this person. We fall out of contact. I don't know, something happens, and then we don't talk for a long time, and then we go back to talking on the regular. I don't know why that is. But yeah, and I think this poem is actually unfinished, which I will put this on here because I feel like there's just more to this poem for some reason. And maybe that's what I should do. This is good. Like, this is a good exercise for me. Weather. This next one is weather. Okay, so we'll move on to the next poem. Weather. It's the last gasp of winter, and spring is about to fully appear. I hope this spring I recover my faith and love. I hope this spring I continue with my focus on a better life for me and my kids. And I don't allow anyone to get in my way of what's meant for me. I really like this poem. Yeah, it's a very simple, it's more like an affirmation, I think. I think like a lot of my poems are more like affirmations of what I want. And just like little reminders to myself. Because a lot of the times I tend to lose focus on that. It hasn't happened as bad the past 5 years since I've been to therapy and stuff, like, but it does still happen from time to time. especially if I get obsessed about somebody or whatever. I'm in a relationship. I don't know why that is. But there's nothing wrong with me because I am perfect. Yeah. Since there's nobody here, I can say such things. Okay. Arrival. Spring is arriving and I'm hopeful for my continue. Wait, what? Okay, let me read this again. Hold on. Let me revise this. Arrival. Spring is arriving and I'm hopeful for continuing to blossom into the woman of my dreams, into the badass Incan queen who tames and makes friends with her demons, into a heroine who's conquering her fears and insecurities. Yeah, I think it's like I said, I was going to therapy too during this time. So, one trick that I've learned is, I guess, opposite action. So when you're feeling bad or you're feeling some kind of way about something, do the opposite of that. So sometimes when I'm feeling really bad about myself for some reason, I know I lose confidence in myself and just faith in humanity with everything that's happening. I have to go and write like something very positive, right? So maybe like this day or I could have just been having a goddess complex moment or whatever. So it could have been a goddess complex moment, like, oh, I'm really proud of myself, or oh, I'm feeling like shit. let me write this, even though I'm not really feeling this. Let me write this. So it's a way to like kind of hack your brain into a more positive mindset per se. And I'm really glad that nobody's here. And these videos are just saved for posterity's purpose. But that's a cute little affirmation, I think, to keep in mind. Okay. I don't have any. I'm going to move to 2024, and 2024 was an interesting year for me. I want to see if I have some other things. Okay, no, okay. So this one is entitled, I'm not sure, I probably do have a title for it somewhere when I typed it up. And all these poems from 2024 and 2021, well, most of these are typed up somewhere in my Google Docs. So they've been revised, but these are the unrevised versions of it. They're very rough drafts. So let's go. This one is entitled, this one was written exactly a year ago. So this is poem number 4. Any idea or notion of romance is now lost to me. I'm tried every which way to make myself appetizing, edible for men to take interest in me. Love me. But the story always turns tragic, and I'm tired of rejection, followed by bouts of tears and insanity. This spring, I will not spend my energy trying to manifest another fool I'll obsess about or get caught up in my head and daydreams. This spring, I'm going to concentrate only on the potential that's yet to bloom in me. Focus on the world of creativity that resides within me. Daring to get out? I don't know. Raring to get out. Okay, that was it. God, that was... I want to write it again. Just because, yeah. Let me try to read this again. Any notion or idea of romance is lost to me. I've tried every which way to make myself appetizing, edible for men to take interest in me. Love me. But the story always turns tragic. And I'm tired of rejection followed by bouts of tears and insanity. This spring, I will not spend my energy trying to manifest another fool I'll get obsessed over or get caught up in my head and daydreams. This spring, I'm going to concentrate only on the potential that's yet to bloom in me and focus on the world creativity that resides within me, raring to get out. I think that's more like it. Leah, I'm really happy that there's nobody here, but that I am recording. Okay. So this book was actually, I like to use quotes and stuff for some of my stuff. I use prompts, but also quotes. And this quotes that I have in this book are from like a feminist calendar my friend gave me about like badass women. So, and it's like, what is this quote going to, what kind of poem is this quote going to inspire? So this one is called, this quote is from, that inspired this poem. I'll read it. Men are like air to me. You can't live without them. Every now and then I breathe good fresh air, you know. I'm just a weak woman after all. And that's from Katie Sanguina, Barnum and Bailey, Strong Women of the Early 1900s. Yeah. It's interesting. Okay. It is hot. This one is called Ew. There's a theme here. Ew. Last night I got nauseous and almost vomited thinking of that one time I submitted to a man and allowed him to tie me up. I almost want to beat the shit out of that version of myself. But ew, she probably liked that too much. Instead, I'll find compassion for her because that poor girl was so mentally ill, starving for attention, affection, and love. She didn't know any better, and her standards were as low as 20,000 leagues under the sea. Sometimes I like to poke fun at my younger self. I was just so mentally ill. Nobody else can do it though. Nobody else. Like, I will get mad if somebody else does it because I feel like I come and progress from all, like, so much from that. But me personally, I can do it because it's me. But I feel like, I don't know, like, I think, and there's like a lot of funny stories that came along with it. I mean, I don't want to say I was completely terrible, but I was very mentally ill, and I did things now that I would never do. I mean, then that I would never do. And I think that when I, especially like, and I have to keep in mind that I share these things because I know there are other people in the situations that they feel out of shame for their past or whatever. Sometimes I still feel shame. Those bouts of shame do happen. Like this one, which I was just like, oh, I can't believe I did that. That was absolutely horrible, and I would never do that again. And I'm glad there's nobody on this live, so I can say that. Okay, so this one. Okay, we have the next, the next two from 2004, and this is going to be very interesting. All right, I'm sorry I miss you. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry I miss you. I'm sorry I miss you. It was your last text that I screenshotted from you. And then I deleted the text from my blocked messages. I'm exhausted, emotionally drained, and I deserve someone better who only... Wait, let me start this poem again. I'm sorry I miss you. I'm sorry I miss you. It was your last text from you that I screenshotted and then deleted the text from my blocked messages. I'm exhausted, emotionally drained, and I deserve better than someone who only remembers me when he's lonely. Maybe once upon a time, I thought you had a place in my life. But in year 43, after you unfriended me, I took it as a sign from the universe. Fuck this energy and move on. And that's exactly what I'm doing. No hard feelings, no apologies needed. I just no longer have room for anything that doesn't nurture my growth or add to my story. This was, this was the same person who inspired the poem, the first poem that I read. And I don't know, we have a very interesting energy, I guess. It was worse when we first met. It was really bad when we first met. I won't say it's all him, it's me too. And now it's a lot better. It's just throughout the years that energy has changed and evolved, but it's also been kind of like it stayed like a little bit the same, not like how it was so toxic once upon a time. It's just that I think that we have our points where every once in a while we annoy each other, because I think that comes with like any relationship, friendships, relationships, children. You come to a point where sometimes you annoy each other. That just cannot be helped, and that's what happened. All right, so this one is in Spanish, and I'm excited. And this one's from inspired by the quote, "Where are all the women?" by who wrote this, and this was "Where Are All the Women" was a quote from Emily Miller, founder of Rebel Rally, on reading car magazines as a child. So this one is Ira y Furia. Okay, so let me go. Ira y Furia. La ira y furia de mis antepasados femeninos. Let me try that again. Ira y furia. La ira y furia de mis antepasados femeninas viven en mí. Ellas me visitan en sueños y me mandan mensajes que cuenten sus historias, sus verdades, aunque duelen, aunque algunos me llamarán sádica y dramática. Ellas me inquietan y me dicen que es tiempo de gritar todas las injusticias y trastornos vividos, que nuestras muertes no han sido en vano, y aunque lloro y trato de ignorar la llamada de la sangre, es inevitable. Fui escogida para sus venganzas, para sus historias de redención. I'm not going to read that again because it was a lot, and I don't think I'm going to get any Spanish speaking people or bilingual. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. It's just, this was about the women in my family and just their rage. I feel like women in generally are overlooked in stories. And it happened a lot with my family. It's like, I'm sure a lot of families, but especially like in the machisto culture that I grew up with, the women were just kind of overlooked. And I don't feel like there was a moment of progression, like of men being progressive, until my grandfather was born. And he was very, like, he wasn't like that with my grandmother. He was very I don't know, it was, I guess he was different with my grandmother than he was with his daughters. With his daughters, he wanted all of them to go to school, to go to college and get a career and not get married, but all of them got married and had kids and didn't finish schooling, like college or whatever. It was his granddaughters that actually finished university and I guess had careers or whatever. So it was this generation. And my dad was also a person who he didn't accept like gender as something that should hold you back ever. And he was very demanding, equally demanding with my sisters, with me and my sister, as he was with my brother. So, but then like with my mom, he expects her to cook, why not? But I guess it's weird. So, but I think like that's been one of the themes for me is I have all this rage and fury and yes, it's so much because of the life I've lived, but I think that it also has to do with the fact that a lot of that is inherited through your genes and the stories of your ancestors, especially those stories that are not told, that just stay there. And I don't want to say poison you. I don't think it's poison, because I think like it shows like resilience that's passed down, but it's also like a way to, I don't know. I feel like sharing these stories is a way to like break those generational curses and cure some mental illness. Not all mental illness, but it's just like bring more joy to your life, have a better quality of life if you acknowledge this stuff that's happened in the past, because they never had a chance to acknowledge it. Anyways, so that was 2024. That was interesting. Okay, so we're on the longest live and I still have no viewers. And I think I should be very grateful for that. All right. Okay. So this one, so these are going to be interesting poems. They're Spanish and English, but we'll see. This one is untitled, and I wrote this when I was drunk. I don't even know if it's a poem. Blood Moon Lunar Eclipse. It's a poem in the making. I can't figure it out yet because it's 2:30 a.m. and I'm too drunk. Yeah, that's the little saying. That doesn't say much. And then this one is called Venganza de K-Drama. So in 2025, I was also watching some K-dramas. Oh, and this is actually a poem that I translated from a poem in 2024 that I wrote. And the poem in 2024 that I wrote in English was something about K-drama. No, I was watching K-dramas in 2024. This was a poem. So let's see how the translation goes. Venganza de K-drama. Algunos días quiero vivir en una venganza de un K-drama, y vengarme de todos los que me dañaron. Let me start this again. Venganza de K-drama. Algunos días quiero vivir en una venganza de K-drama y vengarme de todos los que me dañaron, me hicieron llorar o me trastornaron. Pero esto es la vida real. Y lo mejor que puedo hacer es escribir poesía de ira y rezar que el karma los visite y les haga pagar una deuda kármica la deuda kármica que tienen conmigo. Yeah, it's interesting. All right. Okay, so this one is entitled, this is in Spanish too. Detrás de las rejas, papi hablaba con el policía. Trataba de razonar con él, con su privilegio de ingeniero que tenía. Y yo no entendía nada. Solo sabía que algo importante iba a pasar. Wait, I need to figure this out. Papi trató de razonar. Trataba de razonar con él por su privilegio, por el privilegio que él tenía. Y yo no entendía nada, solo que algo importante, algo pues podía cambiar. Let me try this again. I don't know. Let's try this again. Detrás de mis rejas, papi hablaba con el policía. Trataba de razonar con él por el privilegio de ingeniero que él tenía. Y yo no entendía nada. Solo que algo importante, algo que puede cambiar mi vida, está pasando. I gotta work a lot on the grammar with this one. This is about something that happened when I was very little. My dad talking to a police officer, we'll just say that. Here, Agonía. It's called another Spanish poem. Casi te fuiste y ni cuenta me di. Estaba enfocada en mí, estaba en mi mundo, en donde camino por días y días, sonámbula, en fantasías. Casi te me fuiste y me movió el piso. y something emocionalmente porque no puedo imaginar vivir en un mundo sin ti, porque pensar que estuviste solo a pasos de bailar con la muerte me trae llena de furia y agonía. This one's called Agony, and I'm not sure what inspired this. It talks about almost losing someone and not paying attention and being distracted. And after the fact that, that this realization comes along, it's a terrible thing because you realize I could have lost somebody and I was too distracted. Okay, and it would have been a really bad thing, I guess. All right, so we got a few more poems. I think the rest are in Spanish. Ghosts. I summon your ghost with smoke as I walk in a heart 3 times during the lunar eclipse, trying to manifest money, success, and love. I was into some really weird thought processes when I was an invalid on my bed rest, and I think this one is more of like an incantation than a poem. But I did actually do that. I actually did light candles and walk in a heart 3 times during the lunar eclipse. I don't know. I think I was thinking of going back on the dating apps or some shit. Anyways. No awakening. I wait and wait in vain in a room full of beautiful lesbians for my gay awakening, for another identity of the queer kind, but nothing happens. And once again, I'm disappointed. I'm still attracted to men. That was pretty self-explanatory. I think I did a play on Sabrina Carpenter's, I don't know, Slam Pickings. She said something about a gay awakening, and I was like, why am I fucking attracted to men? It's awful. It's awful. It's just freaking awful, right? Anyways, and this one is embarrassing. Bon voyage, human rights, one shitty government at a time. While I was focused on the shitstorm that's happening in my adopted homeland, I forgot about my homeland with its history of shitty and unstable politics. Seems like their government also drank the right-wing Kool-Aid and want to fuck the most vulnerable and most marginalized even more by taking away their right to decent counsel. And I shake my head thinking, well, now I don't know which country to be more embarrassed of belonging to. This is about Peru. I think that they had something that they passed. That I think they had something where they were gonna like take away counsel for there was like an international lawyer something organization, and they were councils like for indigenous people, and they were taking away that. They passed like some kind of bill where the indigenous poor people could not have counsel, and I was like, damn. It was awful. It just felt awful because I'm like, yeah, Peru was like part of like, if it gets bad here, I could go there, but it's not gonna happen. So I don't know. I'm still here, obviously. Oh God. All right, we're down to the last 2, and they're short. Oh God. A veces quiero un novio, porque a veces quiero unos abrazos. Del cual donde pueda amanecer y llamar mi hogar. It was about wanting a boyfriend and calling his arms home, but what the fuck do I know about that? Yeah. Huh. I think I delude myself sometimes into thinking that. Call someone home. But not anymore, because fuck that. Okay. And this one is entitled The P in my name is for petty, Pisces, and pretty. I'm a triple P threat. I was just fun. Yeah. Anyways, this was fun. I'm glad nobody came. But I am glad that I got to do this. And yeah, it was 30 minutes. All right, that's it.